you guys have created the whole body of your informational writing. That means you have great body paragraphs. Emily and I have given you feedback on them and helped you elaborate a little bit more. You have a strong introduction. You have a thought-provoking and strong conclusion. And now it's time for you guys to put everything together and make your book look just like you want it to. Now, when authors are trying to create the most interesting informational text they can, they also think about some text features, and that means things that you can insert in your writing to make it pop more or have be a little bit more memorable. And some things that you might want to include are a table of contents, headings, diagrams and pictures, captions that go with it, with these pictures, and bold words / important vocabulary words. And I want to show you guys what that looks like in published text. And then you guys can choose what you feel comfortable adding to your own writing. We're not going to say that you have to include certain ones, and we're not going to say that you have to type it or that you have to handwrite it or you have to do it in some particular way. You guys get to decide how you want to publish your informational text and make it the best it can look. And so I'm going to start by showing you what the table of contents looks like, and then headings, and then I'll go down the list, okay? So one thing I love about the National Geographic books, like Deadliest Animals, is that their table of contents is super interesting. So here's their table of contents. And what they've done is they have different chapters here, different sections, and they've given those sections interesting names. So Deadly Surprises, Mighty Hunters, Big and Brutal, Scary Snakes, Ferocious Fish, and so on. And so one thing that you can do with your table of contents, which goes at the beginning of your book or your text, is make your chapters, the names just a little bit more interesting. They need to be on topic, like it can't just be an interesting word that has nothing to do with your chapter, but you can make them a little bit more interesting. So then, once they have their table of contents created with these interesting headings, then they actually put the heading at the top. So this page, it says Deadly Surprises, and we know that that's all going to be all about deadly surprises. Or when we go a few pages further, we have Mighty Hunters. And so those are headings. So it's important that you have headings. This is something that orients your reader and tells them what they're about to read about. That's really important to have. So headings are great. Another thing that's really important to have in your book are interesting pictures. This book is full of interesting pictures. They have many different types of pictures. One picture I wanted to show you is this. This is a diagram. This shows you the body of a jellyfish and then how long its tentacles actually are. So it's like one basketball is the body, and then 11 more basketballs would actually be how long the tentacles are, which is really crazy. And in order to understand this diagram, they have captions so that you understand that this part is the body and this is the tentacle. So you need to have captions when you have pictures. It's just like here's the jellyfish, it's a good picture, and then there's captions that go with it that say, okay, that's the tentacle, and they have an arrow that goes down. You could also have pictures where you're just labeling. Like this tells you what type of viper it is. It's a golden eyelash viper. This is a green pit viper, a red diamond rattlesnake. So those are also captions. Sometimes captions are a little bit more informative. They tell you exactly what's going on instead of just one word. So in this book, Heading for Home, it says players often congratulate each other after winning the game. So they actually put a sentence with that picture. It's up to you about what would explain the picture best. The last thing I want to show you that you can add to your writing are bold words. So here, an important vocabulary word is batting cage, and so they made it bold. And then they explained what batting cage meant at the bottom. A screen placed behind home plate to catch balls during batting practice. In National Geographic books, they don't always bold the words, but instead what they do is they usually have a place where they define important words. So this important word is invertebrate, an animal with no backbone. So when you have a good word that you want to make sure your readers understand, it's really important to define it somewhere, either in your writing or like off to the side. One thing that I know you guys really like about National Geographic books is they also include jokes. And so if you feel so inclined to include a joke, you can too. What do whales like to eat with peanut butter? Answer, jellyfish. So today and over the next week or so, you're going to work on publishing your informational text and making it look as interesting as you can. That means that you might want to have a cool cover. That means you might want to have pictures. You can print out pictures. You can hand draw pictures. It doesn't matter. Add some color. Maybe have a table of contents so that readers know how to read your informational text. Maybe you want headings. Maybe you want to have interesting headings that have like an interesting name but are also related to what you're talking about. Maybe you want to have bold and important words that are featured throughout your writing so that people understand what they're reading. It's up to you how you want to format it. We just want to make sure that you have all the tools and strategies in front of you before you get started. And we cannot wait to see what you guys produce.